So realize at the last time we met last week, I gave just a simple instruction to finish a couple questions. So got 1 or 2 questions. Question 11 and the next one, and nobody did it. Nobody sent it back to me. Everybody said them going to, but no one at all sent it back, which is disappointing. See, the problem is, you see, when you don't do what you are supposed to do, then I don't know whether you understand certain things or not. And I don't know how to move on if I don't know if you understand or not. You understand? So I don't know if it's a case where you don't understand, that's why you never do it. I just lazy out and never do it, or whatever the case is. So when I decide that I'm going to just start pressing on, you may very well get left behind because you don't understand, you don't communicate that you don't understand. And then I don't read mine. Not anymore, used to, but I can't do it anymore. So I don't know what steps to take with you. If I don't hear from you and I say, everybody understand, and you will say, yes, sir, I am going to move on. You understand? It's important. When I give exercise, there's a reason to it. It's to help you personally. Because I realize a lot of times when I'm writing on the screen or whatever, or you just take a picture, or you might write it off, and in your head you feel like you understand until you get one to do on your own. Then you realize that you have some problems, and then that is when I expect you to reach out to me. But when nobody at all don't do it, nobody at all don't reach out to me to say that they don't understand or they understand or anything at all, it makes it difficult for me to plan to move on. And back in my head, I'm going to say, all right, these students understand, so they're knocking up themselves, so I'm not going to move on, which is what we're going to do today. Alright, so I don't know if people understood what happened last week or whatever the case is. Put the video them. I realize that some people watch them, some people don't watch them. I can't do anything about that. I can on my part. Alright. Let's get back into it. Alright, this is my screen. I wanted us to do but I mean this question last week. Right? This is one of the questions. Reason being, it's a little bit more worded than the ones that we've given before. And it's a little bit more closely related to real world experience. Instead of saying X and Y, input X, input Y, or whatever the case is here, and using the actual data that you may be able to relate to. You understand? That's why I wanted us to do it. Because that before the end of this class here, I'm going to start the SBA, the problem solving part of the SBA, which is going to involve understanding what we've been doing so far and what we're going to do now. Alright? So let's go. So instructions are declare the variables using the pseudocode below and complete the trace table. Right? So declare the variables. Remember when we look through, we should be able to just be able to look at it and identify our variables. So right now we see that item number is a variable, description is a variable, cost is also a variable, quantity. So we can list them out. Item number is 1, cost is 1, quantity, cost, description, cost, yes, sorry, quantity, tax, total, cost and quantity repeat, third up here, so we're not going to declare it a second time. Discount is 1, grand total is 1. Right now we have what? 8 variables right here. Right, so we declare them as shown before up top.
Excuse me, sir.
Right. Top.
Hold on.
What? Alright, so these are the variables that I've identified. Next thing we need to do is identify what type of data they are storing, right? So we say item number here, so And we can look at what it is storing here, so and we see that it has letters and numbers in it. So that means that item number will be what kind of variable? Item number.
Sir, string.
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 String. Good. So we look for any other string. So we see the description here, so which is storing your shoes. So this is what kind of variable?
Single character, sir.
No, I'm not seeing string. See there now. Here shoes.
Oh, sir.
So I see him. So
sir, the same string, sir.
CM string. Then we have cost. Cost, which is a regular number. Quantity is a regular number. We see that one is cost. Anything to do with money, we declare them as real, right? So these up here so are string. Cost is real. Quantity integer. Tax, we can say that tax is real again because tax are for doing money. Discount and grand total and total. All of these are for doing money.
Sir,
Yeah.
when we get string, or we even come up, sir?
Who does start it for?
Data. Data.
Okay. 1 second. All right. So we say that a string is a set of characters and numbers, like a sentence. So they say that item number here, so it is the variable name, and this is the data that it is storing. And when we look at the data that it is storing, we see that it has letters and numbers in it. All right. So this one as well, string, it has all letters in it. So like a word or a sentence. Anything with 2 or more characters, numbers, or symbols, storing 2 or more characters, numbers, or symbols, we call it a string. So this will be a string because it has a letter and numbers in it. It will be a string because it has all letters in it. It will be just a number. Rest of them are just numbers. Right? So it depends on what type of number. So we see that if it's money, we declare it as real. And then we say if it's regular number like quantity, right? So in this case, we did with a pair of shoes, right? So the quantity here so will be integer because you can have 2.1 pair of shoes. It has to be a whole number. So that's why we put quantity as integer. The costs on these ones are real because they have decimal place. So that's how we declare them as real, right? Which we did from the first, I think that was the first class that we did the other day. So if you don't understand that fully, you can go back and watch the last week Sunday class on YouTube, Sunday before that class. All of them are on YouTube. So you can go back and watch them to get the full understanding of how we declare the variables, all right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. All right, good. So we get to that part. So we have declared all our variables here. So we have item number, description, and a string. These are real, these are integers, all right? Similarly with your SBAs, when you're doing your SBAs and you're going to pseudocode for your SBAs, in the same way, you need to go through and declare all your variables. So anything that are string, you put them together as string. Anything that are cost or money related, we have decimal point on them, you put them together as real. And anything that are whole numbers, that can either be whole numbers, negative or positive numbers, we put them together as integer. All right, so that has to do with the variable declaration, and that is a whole section that you get marked for on the SBA. How you declare a variable. So if you don't declare everything as string, obviously it can't work. Right? So you have to declare them properly. Secondly, we have the rest of the pseudocode. I refer to all of this going down now as the body of the pseudocode. Right? So we have the heading. Normally I put a heading up here, so when I have that, we have the variable declaration and then we have the body of the pseudocode. Alright, so in this case, they just want to, the question does ask us to complete the trace table. The question only wants us to complete this trace table right here. So right, this part of it, the trace table, the part below is supposed to go beside it. Because it's too wide, I just put it below it. Right? So it's a continuous. It's item number, description, cost, quantity, tax, total, discount, grand total, and print. Right? It's supposed to be going all the way across, but because it's too long, but just put it below it like this. Right? So to complete this now, we just follow these steps from top to bottom. First thing we're looking for are our loops. Can anybody identify any loop that is in this body? That's in this body of pseudocode? Anyone?
Sir, the cost
Yes,
and
sir.
the quantity repeat, sir.
Pardon?
Sir, the part that said equal cost, sir.
Equal cost.
Sir, maybe that's the one who say if total greater than or at 10,000, then discount take away total is 20%.
Alright. So
It's total
remember,
times 20%.
remember now, based on what we discussed last week, what are the two types of loops that we discussed last week?
The if statements and the while statements.
The if statement is not a loop, but while is one. So there's while loop and there's a next one. What the next one? There's while and there's another loop. What's the next loop? Nobody can remember the next one? So the other one is a for. Remember for loop? Come up, people. I want to talk to you.
No, I never remember about it.
So we spent a lot of time going through while and for last week. I mean, as a matter of fact, all of them was. So this is a while. We did the while. This one is while. And we did for. Remember this? This is a for loop for G equal 1 to 4. I would say from the 1 to 4, we know how much time it must do. So for is a loop as well. So we do one next for. All of this are from last week class now. Understand? So rough. Alright. So once we look at this, we don't identify any for or any whiles. That means that there are no loops in this statement. That's basically what I was trying to get at. There are no loops in the statement. There is, however, a statement, which is a condition statement. Alright, so it's not a loop. It just will happen one time, but we have to pay close attention to it. Alright. So we remember we said that with the if statement, it have two parts. First of all, it starts at the if and it ends at the end if, right? And we said that it's separated by an else. So we said that the part that comes before the else would be what? The part that comes before the else is what?
The part that comes before is the truth and one is the other one is the false.
Right. The part that comes before it is true, and the part that comes after the else is if it's false. Right? So discount equal total times 20% is if it's true. Discount equal total times 10% is if it's false. Referring to the condition here. So this is a condition. That's one. Total greater than 10,000. Right. So we're just going to put in the information. So we said begin item number equal A147. This is the item number. Pair of shoes for the description. Pair of shoes. So that the cost is 2,782. That is the cost. The quantity is 4. But I was working with everything with the ask for that is given here. So everything that is given here, so that's what I put in. The tax is 15%. to the GCT. GCT is equal to the total times tax. So we need the next one right here. So I'm just adding this last one here so I realize something. GCT, which is GCT is equal to tax, total times tax. So the total was equal to cost times quantity. So the cost here times the quantity here. Somebody use a calculator and check this quickly for me, please. The cost times the quantity here, so here's one.
The cost times the quantity is 11,128.
Yeah. So the total here says 11,128. So, right. The GCT is equal to the total times the tax. So the total here, so times 15% as well. So that's 11,128 times 15% as well.
16,600. 16. What is?
1,000 something.
1,669.2.
1,669.2. Good. That are the GCT. Working only with what is here, saying. So the if statement says no, if total is greater than 10,000. If total greater than 10,000, they're asking no. Look at the data up here. So is total greater than 10,000?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is. So it will do the two parts, and it will ignore the false part right here. So this going to be total times 20%. So calculate the total times 20% from now until now. Total, which was 11,122.
2,225.6.
2,225. So the discount is 2,225.60. And then the grand total now is equal to total plus tax. So we can do the math on that. The total, which is 11,128 plus the tax. Not tax, plus GC. That total plus the GCT, which is 1669.20 minus the discount of 2,225.60. And you should end up with 10,000.
10,571.6.
0.6. Good. So remember, everything here is about working with the step. So at each step, you do exactly what to do. And based on the result you get, you fill in the table here. So the last line now says, let me do this now separate. Alright, I'll do the print part in our separate line just so that you can see better. Good. So this is your print. For this statement down here. So, and it says, remember we spoke about the output statement, and we said that whatever comes within the double quotation will be printed exactly as it is. And anything that is not within the double quotation is referring to a variable. I mean that it's going to print this exactly as it is because it's in double quotation. And then what is outside of the double quotation is going to look for it as a variable. And we have it as a variable here. So when it print, it's going to say the grand total. This part like this because it's in double quotation. And the part that is after the double quotation is treating it like a variable. So they're going to be looking for the value for this variable. The grand total in our table, grand total up here, so is 10,571.60. So it's going to print it as 10,571.60. So that is how it can print it, right? So it printed this part because it's in the quotation, and this part because it's a variable by itself, right? So if you did this top to bottom like this, this is what it should look like, right? It's only doing one time going down because there are no loops or anything at all like that. So it's only doing one time going down, right? Take a moment, look through this, take a couple seconds, look through it, make sure that you're understanding what we're doing here. So I want to move on from this. We know where we stand. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask those questions. So don't sit and feature because everybody else them understand you, they can understand too. Make sure you ask the questions. Everybody understand? Alright, let's move ahead. Alright, so that was for that question. Now we have a similar one down here, so. But this one have a loop. This one have a loop. Alright. So we want to look at it to kind of identify right away that we have a loop. So we need to have our graphical line to show where the loop begins and where the loop would end. So we have that clearly vision in our head, so we don't make a mistake where that is concerned. So the loop would begin here and end here. So everything here so is going to happen as long as x is less than 4. It's greater than 4. So as long as x is greater than 4, that should be less than. As long as x is less than 4, all of this will take place. Right? And then move on to some calculations and then it's finished. Right? So we want to do first, again, like what I did before, declare the variables using the pseudocode below to create the trace table using the data provided. So we want to first run through this to identify all the variables that we need. All right, so we can say var, and we know that we're going to need tax, so these are the variables that we might need. So these are the variables that we're going to be using. The shift. So putting this loop back in place. Right. So we don't need to create a table now that's going to give us information. What is in here is just the input. All of the information that's given here in this table here, so is going to be the input for the items here. So if you notice here is an item number, description, cost, quantity. You're going to input item number, description, cost, and quantity. So each time it loop is going to use a different set from the data here. So, all right. So let's begin. So if you put in a trace table, all right, that's one trace table. So in our trace table, we're putting the headings for the data that we're going to be putting in. So we're going to have item number. We're going to have description, cost, quantity. We'll put in some more. Quantity and tax total. Which other one? Amount to pay. These are some of them. I'm sure when I start going through, I'm going to find some that I didn't declare. So I'm just going to start with this so we can start. All right. So we're putting in all of the headings for all of the variables that we're going to be using. And I'm going, whatever variables this, I don't add here, so I can add them after. Because I know everything we put here. All right. So we're putting in the information from the table and using the calculations that we have over here. So, all right. So we're going to start from here. So we said tax is equal to 15%. That means that we should have had one over here. So that's tax, and that's going to be 15%. All right. Move to the next line. X equal 1. X, variable x is equal to 1. We have while x less than 4. And we can see here so that x is less than 4. So it means that we can start the loop. So we go to the first one, input item number. Input item number. So the first item number is A4147. The description for that one is tax. Cost is 150. Quantity is 10. item total is equal to cost times quantity. So item total here so is going to be equal to the cost times the quantity. So 150 times 10 is how much? 150 times 10.
160.
What? 150 times 10 plus times.
1,500.
1,500.
1,500. All right. So that's a total. Grand total. So we just do this one. So we're doing this one. Grand total is equal to grand total plus item total. So grand total here, so is going to equal to itself, which is currently 0, plus the item total. So it's going to be equal to 1,500. Right? We reach the end loop, we'll go back up again. X is still less than 4. Sorry. So the x equal x plus 1. So x is now 2. Right. Go back up again. X is still less than 4. So we'll put in the next set of information. Item number, which is PPU25. Short for the description. Cost for this one is 1,500. Quantity is 4. So we'll get to here. So now we're saying item number is equal to cost times quantity. Item total. So item total here so is equal to cost times quantity. So the cost times quantity here says how much?
6,000.
6,000. Good. Grand total is equal to grand total plus item total. So grand total here so is going to be equal to grand total plus the item total. So that's going to be equal to how much? 1,500 plus 6,000. It's going to be equal to 7,500. Right? So we'll just bring it line by line. So we're not going to do this until we get to the end of the line. That's the purpose. So we don't have to go further than this. But that's the purpose of this. So we're just following it loop by loop until we get to the end of the line on it. So once this run 1, 2, 3, once it is no longer less than 4, it is going to stop. So it is going to do when it becomes 3, and then the information for when x is 3, and when it's 3 here, so it is no when it becomes 4, it is no longer less than 4. So the end while will stop, and then it will do the other calculations down here. So just like I did in the previous example, right? So the idea here is to just go through and fill in each piece here, so as you move through the pseudocode. That is the idea. So what I want you to do, like what I'm doing in this example, immediately following the class, you're going to do this exact work here. So do the table, complete the entire table. I'm going to mark it and I'm going to submit it to Ms. Clausen as one of your pseudocode grades. All right, you can put it on in our grade book or whatever the case is. So you're going to complete this exercise here, so following the steps that I'm going to show you, observing the loop, and then completing the part on yourself to complete the entire table here. So you will submit this to me after the class, after this class finishes at 3 o'clock, and I will submit those grades to Ms. Clausen as part of your grading for classwork grading. All right. When it comes to Okani, you need to do it as well because it's a part of your practice for your exam. And Tiana, you will do it as well because it's a part of your assessment for the report to your exactly what's happening. All right? So you're going to do this question immediately following the class. All right? Okay, so the next part that I want us to look at for today is the actual SBA, the programming part of this exact SBA. More show you how to start it. And then you, on your time, your own divine understanding and wisdom, you're going to finish it as well. So let me just share back this next screen. So this is the SBA that I sent this morning. The file that I sent this morning just before class start is going to be the same exact thing as this. All right? So look through this for a second. We want to create something similar to what we were writing before, not the trace table part, but the actual pseudocode part, something similar to that. Because sometimes, again, so we want to get through this thing, SBA thing as early as possible. We just have to jump straight into it. I'm going to show you some pieces of it, and then you're going to put it back, you're going to put it together as I'm going to instruct you, and then we can go from there. All right? So, first thing we want to do, number one says, develop a pseudocode algorithm for the hospital that calculates all payments for the patients based on the admittance detail, right? And should be able to, so we're just creating a program. We're going to write a program ultimately that is going to be able to accept all of the information for the patients and automatically calculate their data for them. Similar to what you did in the spreadsheet. Most of what you did in the spreadsheet, we're just rewriting it as a program that is going to automate everything for the hospital, right? And they give you some information here. So they're saying the pseudocode should be able to, one, capture the personal information. Well, so I'm going to stop this and start it back properly. I'm going to share, look at two different screens. Good. So the program should be able to capture the patient's personal information. When I say personal information, I'm referring to these information right here. So first name, last name, symptoms, days, insurance, all of this right here. So will be them personal information. But the program is going to do one person at a time. So you know, don't think you're going to be putting in 30 at a time. So we just may focus on that. Right? So when I say personal information, this is a part that I'm referring to. So we want the program to be able to allow you to enter person's first name, last name, the symptoms that they have, the amount of days they stayed, and the type of insurance that they have, as well as the date of birth.
I can zoom out a little bit more, sir.
Why?
I picture me there take it, sir, because I never really finished mine, sir. That's why.
It's recording.
It's on YouTube. Go and go watch YouTube. It's on YouTube. And me zoom in, come and focus on this part. I know I focus on everything. So the part of my highlight, this is where I focus on. The entire thing is on YouTube. And the link that I'm sending you, obviously you know watch it. Thanks. Alright. So, right. The personal information part is referring to this. So you want a program that is going to allow you to enter the person's first name, last name, the symptoms, the days, the insurance, and the date of birth. So you, the user, are going to type in that information into the program. Next, the program should capture the insurance data as MOH, SAG, which is a surgical, or NO for none, right? When we say capture the insurance, meaning that when you're typing in the information for this insurance, you're supposed to type in MOH, SAG, or NO for the insurance in the program itself, right? And the intensive care should be IC, and the isolation should be IS. So when you type in, when you're running your program, this is how you're going to allow it to type in the information, right? As IC or IS for the care, and for the insurance is MOH, SAG, or NO for the insurance, right? Thirdly, you will allow your pseudocode to calculate the 4 expenses based on the time that they stayed at the hotel. So remember, these are the 4 expenses. So your pseudocode is supposed to automatically calculate these 4 expenses for you. and present them. All right, just like how the same 4 explained. So these are my 4. Remember, you have a different 4 than we have. Remember, based on what we discussed. All right. So your program going to do that for you, and it's going to calculate the insurance coverage received and the amount to be paid. Insurance coverage received, which is out here, so, and the amount to be paid. So basically calculating, it's going to calculate all of this for you. It's going to accept the first set of information for you, and it's going to automatically calculate the rest of the information. So we are writing a program to do this for us. Get the matter? Let me find. I'm going to look for an example and show you. Give me 30 seconds. I'm going to look for an example and show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, good. Phone one.
Okay, I sent something to you on WhatsApp.
All right. So look at the screen now. The year and the blue. This is a SBA from somebody's last year SBA that they wrote, right? So this is the programming part. This is not very long. She wasn't one of the long ones. But so when we say allow you to input, so this one was for a reservation for a hotel, right? So we're just gonna run it and show you how it runs to make you understand what I'm talking about. We say input, what we mean. So when we run it, this is their program when it runs, right? It's asking, do you want to enter a reservation transaction? I'm going to say yes. Starting from visitor name, Kevin. So this is me inputting the data for this person, for this visitor. But similarly with your program, when you run your program, it's going to do something similar to this. It's going to allow you to enter the information for your patient, right? So if it's a enter patient name, patient first name, patient last name, for that be the case. This one is asking for the amount of adults because it was a reservation for a hotel. So you're not going to ask the amount of adults. You might ask the amount of days because that is one of the criteria for your SBA. Number of children, 14, number of nights stayed. And based on what I'm entering here, so it's going to automatically calculate everything for me. So similarly with your program, that is what I wanted to do. Once we enter the information that the person that you're asking for here, so the patient first name, last name, insurance, symptoms, all of that. Once you enter the symptoms, it's supposed to automatically calculate everything for you like this. It's like I only entered this set of information right here. So based on the information that I entered, it was able to calculate the adult cost, the children cost, the group cost, the discount, tax rate, and the amount to be paid from that information. So similarly with your one is going to calculate the insurance, the expenses, the coverage, and the total amount to be paid. right? So this is something similar to how your program is going to look when you're finished, right? In order to get this running here, so this person had to write in all of this code. These are all of the variables that they use. Come on. All of these are the variables that they use. Not here, so stop doing that. Yeah. All of these are the variables. Okay, so that's some of them were integer, some of them were real, some of them were string. These are all of the variables that they use. And they declare them. Some more variables down here so as well. They had a begin. This person had a loop somewhere in it, right? They had a loop here, so they had their loop in place. This was just a heading, whatever the case is. So what my plan here now is to today go ahead to create the code, the pseudocode, the basic pseudocode. So by between sometime in this week and next week, I will show you how to write out the program just like this, right? So let me show you some of the points at the pass that you get marks for. You get marks for how you declare your variables. So what is string have to be string, what is integer have to be integer, that type of thing. You get marks for that. You get marks for using the loop. So just like I can look at this and see that there's a loop in place here, so you get marks for that too. You get marks for your presentation. So they didn't have to have this up here, so this is just a heading. They didn't have to have that heading up here, so. But when you look up here, so when it run, and you see them give a nice heading and ask you to enter something that's a part of your presentation. So you'll get marks for part of your presentation as well. These are calculations, all of these things. So it's some if statement, all the little things I'm going to show you is all going to come out in the program that you're going to do. All right. This is about 300 lines, I think. So your program is going to look something similar to this, right? But what I'm showing you now is the breakdown before you write the program itself. So what I'm showing you is a pseudocode. Once you understand the pseudocode, then to make it very easy for you to put all of that pseudocode and convert it into the Pascal code to what you're seeing right here so in front of you. All right. So starting at this stage, so what I'm going to do next is to show you how to do the basic part of the pseudocode. I'm going to finish that on your own. And I want to finish that on your own by next week Sunday. We should be able to start writing the full program. All right. All right. So let's begin. I want to show you now just a pseudocode how to get these parts together.
Excuse me, sir. You have to do the up to right, sir.
The one I'm going to show you on the screen.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to send you one shot in the group.
The group.
I'm going to send you one that you can use on your tablet and on your phone. All right, which is very easy to use on your tablet or on your phone. So if people who do have the laptop or whatever, them get them now.
Yeah, yes.
All right, so let me begin. So I just want to start showing. So I'm going to start with the first instruction right here. So capture the person's personal information. All right, remember the personal information is set of information up here. So, all right, so we're going to write some pseudocode how to get that information together. Good. So make sure you have a pen and a pencil ready or whatever means you use to capture this data. All right, so we'll come back after this and ask me how to do that and sorry, I never show you this thing. Okay, I'm going to miserable and stay already. All right, what is the best way to do this? Alright, so the first part, we don't have to start with the variables. So you don't have to fill in all of the variables at first because as you go, you're going to be adding more variables. So you can leave the variables for the last part, to be honest. Alright, so as you go, you will be putting in more variables. Alright, so the first, so to enter something like the first name, the instruction for the first name in the Pascal program, it looks like this. Right? These are the actual Pascal code. But more write the pseudocode for it. So for the pseudocode, we're going to write, we're going to output a message that says that is a message. It's saying enter first name or enter patient first name. However way you want to write it, you will write it that way. You don't have to write it exactly like that. So because it's a sentence, you can say please enter first name, whatever the case is, right? So that is a message. So when you run this on the screen, you're just going to say enter first name. You don't need to write a code that allows you the computer to accept the first name. So you're going to say input input first name. Now notice what I did here. All right. Remember that there are not going to be any quotation on this. And this is a message. This is a variable. So I'm giving you the message to output, enter first name. Then I'm giving you the instructions now to input the first name. So this is a variable. So once I have the input here, so I know right away that this is going to be my first variable right here. So first name. And that is going to be a string because that's a name, right? Cool. Bear in mind again, I never have to call it first name. I could have called it F name like that or like that, right? In programming, it's best to use proper names for your variable names, right? So even though in your head you know that F name stands for first name, if I am reading it, I might not know that F name stands for first name. I might feel that F name stands for finish name or some other name, right? So it's always best to write out the variable name, right? I would say that we can't have two words for a variable name. That's why I put the underscore here, so to join it like this. So that's the first name, right? Similarly, we'll do the same thing for last name. Last name. I'll go through and so we're going to one of that for each item that we have here. So we're going to do a message and an input for it. So do a message for first name and an input for first name, message for last name, input for last name. You're going to do one for fever, cough, respiratory problems, for the symptoms. We're going to do one for each of these. All right. So when you finish, you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 input and outputs, or output and input. First name, last name, what's the next one? Fever. This is my message that patient have a fever. And the variable name here so is going to be fever. And have a cough. Into the cough. Next part, does the patient have what's the next one? Respiratory problems. Right. So as I said, you can fix up the variable names and put them in how you want to name them. So I had first name, last name, fever, cough, respiratory problem. All right, so that's the first part. No, I'm not finished. What else? Days, insurance, date of birth. Many days was the patient admitted for? That's the next question. You can call that days. So you get the picture. How many next one are insurance, date of birth? So you put this into proper sentence and fit stuff how you want. But just try to run through it so that you get the idea. Insurance, and then there's date of birth. A lot of fun?
Yes, sir.
Right? So remember, I know we're just using the information that is from SBA up here, so right? When we get to the symptoms part now and all of these other parts, we're going to have to do some formulas for that part. So would I say, do I want to get into this now? Do I? No, I'm not going to get into it. All right. So this is how the first part is pseudocode is look, right? And then when we're ready to the programming part, we'll convert all of this code into something that looks like this for the Pascal to make it work. So as you can see, the same thing. So with Pascal, you have to say right. So instead of saying output, like I just say right. And instead of saying input, I say readLN. So these are the variable names, these are the messages, it's going to be the same process. So when I write those same like this, I'm ready to write the program. When I get to that stage next week. All right. So this one, but that's why you can put together this for yourself now. So when you're ready, so in preparation for next week, you're going to start writing the pseudocode for the SBA. So you're going to do the first part here, so matter of fact, let me label it as ABCD. So you're going to start doing the first part here, so just like this. If capture the information, which is what we just did a while ago, capture the insurance information. We have the insurance information here, so we'll just do A and B right here, so. We're going to have to put in an if statement to determine if the person is, to determine how much symptoms them have. Because remember, we need the symptom information. So we would say something like, let me see. Does the patient have a fever? So would I want them to put Y for yes or N for no? Right? And make it easier for code. Just like in the SBA, we'll put Y and N. So for this, you don't want to put Y and N. So that it's easier to count. And then we can say if fever equal to yes, then symptoms equal symptoms plus 1. And if. So this is one of the if statements we're going to use. So what I want to do is I want to count how many symptoms they have. Remember, for this, we have to count how many symptoms they have here, so to determine if they're going to intensive care or isolation. So if they have 2 or more symptoms, then they will go in the intensive care. Otherwise, I'm going to isolation. So what I'm doing here, so now I'm trying to keep a count of how many symptoms they have. So if fever equal 1, then symptom plus 1. So symptom now become 1. So I'm going to do this after each one. If half equal yes, then symptom equal symptom plus 1 again. And if respiratory problem equal yes, symptom equal symptom plus 1. But let's do it in blue so that you can see them differently. Alright? So what is happening here so is that I'm saying when we start check the symptoms here. So remember that these are the symptoms. Does the patient have a fever? Yes or no? So if they enter yes, we have a statement here so to capture it. So if you can imagine this is a 3-stage blood pressure, right? So sorry. So does the patient have a fever? Yes or no, right? If the person enter yes, symptom equals symptom plus 1. So symptom now becomes 1. Move to the next one. Does the patient have a cough? If the person enter yes again here, so then symptom equals symptom plus 1. So symptom now becomes 2. Does the patient have a respiratory problem? If the person enter no for this one, then this is false. If respiratory problem equal yes, then that. So this is false, so it wouldn't count. But if it's yes, it should count. So each time you get a yes here, so the symptoms count. So if you get 1 yes here, so 1 yes here, so 1 yes here, so the symptom will be 3. If you get a yes here, so and a no here, so and a no here, so the symptom would be 2. You get it? So these if statements in here, so is only to help you to calculate how many symptoms there are. Alright? So you kind of write it in simple like this, or you could add the next else part right there. You could say else the symptom equal symptom plus 0. Yes, the symptom increase by 1. If it's no, the symptoms increase by 0. Yeah, this one might be a little bit easier to understand. Right? So this is similar to what you're going to start here. But you're going to put in the variables, put in all the variables that you have used. First name, last name, cough, respiratory problem. No. So first name and last name of the string. Because respiratory problem and cough are only asking for a yes or no. So these wouldn't be string. These would be alright, because they only want a yes or no for the fever, cough, or respiratory problem. Alright? Symptoms would be Integer, because it's either 1, 2, or 3. So you can have 1.1 symptoms or 1.7 symptoms of their whole number. So that's why I make it an integer. Alright? So as you go through, you'd add more variables. So that will bring us to this point. So for the intensive care or isolation part now, you know, just add an next if statement. When you finish, your next if statement would say if symptoms equal to or greater than or equal to 2, then here will be so there will be intensive care. Basically. Else they will be in isolation. That's what it's the next if statement right here. So that would bring you up to this point. Right? So all of this pseudocode right here, so you're writing out, would bring you up to this point in your program. After that now, you get into the expenses, right? And then you can put in a formula for each expense that you have there, right? It shouldn't be very difficult. So if you remember the costs that we use down here, so the same cost them you have to use, right? So in this you could say so your bed expense is going to be equal to So if there are intensive care, intensive care equal to intensive care, then bed equal to what was the bed cost? The bed cost for intensive care was 7,000. So it's going to be 7,000 times the amount of days. What the next one? Bed, meal, medication, equipment. Meal for intensive care, 3,000. Medication is 9,000. Equipment is 15,000. Medication 9,000. Equipment 15,000. Right? So it's very similar to what we did in the spreadsheet. It's just that we're typing it out in our program this time. So these are all if it's in intensive care. So if they are in intensive care, and the bed is that, need is that, medication is that, equipment is that. Else, so they are not in intensive care, it means that they are in isolation. So the figures would change a little bit. So the isolation figures now will be 7,000, 2,535, 1,000, 7,000, Bear in mind, my figures might be a little bit different from yours. So you know the figures that you use. So you need in your spreadsheet. So those are the exact figures that you're supposed to use right here. So these are the figures that I use in my spreadsheet. So that's why I have these figures here. So, all right. So that would be the if statement for the expenses. All right. So that now would bring you up to this point. So you don't need to put in for your total expense. That will be easy. That will be very easy to calculate. Total expense equal bed plus meal plus medication plus equipment. That would be the total expense. So the only part left is coverage now. So your coverage is determined by the insurance provider, remember? So if it's MOH, they get 90% discount. If it's none, they get 10%. And if it's surgical, they get 70%. All right? So we could have something that says if we have insurance here, so yes, insurance. So if insurance is equal to, and I remember up here, so I'm going to tell you exactly what more I name them. MOH, SAG, or NO. So if insurance is equal to MOH, then discount is going to be equal to total expenses times 90%. So total MOH 90, right? Else if insurance is equal to SAG, then discount is equal to the total expenses times 70%. Else discount is equal to total expense times 10%. So this is a weird one. So in this case, I actually use 3 different if statements at one time. You're used to 2, but it can work like this. So if insurance is equal to MOH, then the insurance is 90%. Else if insurance is SAG, then it's 70%. Else it is 10%. All right? So your coverage is going to be equal to total expenses minus the discount. No, wait, I'm not discount for there. So, sorry, let me check something to verify. Right, this is the coverage. And then the total amount to pay. The amount to pay is going to be equal to your total expenses minus the coverage. And that should end it. Right? So in that case, we did this. we did this. We did all of the expenses, we did the total, we did the coverage, and we did the amount to be paid. Wonderful. That was easier than I thought it would be. Alright? So when you finish writing your pseudocode should look something like this. Your pseudocode should look something like this. All of what I have right here. So alright, so remember, you're declaring the variables, you put in the inputs for the personal information while they're checking the symptoms, just like we explained. Do the if statement to calculate the expenses. Check your coverage, and you check the final amount to be paid. Alright? Remember, for each variable that you use here, so you must have them declared in here. So some of them are the first name, last name. So you need to look through all of them. Fever is one, symptom is one, cough, respiratory problems, days, insurance, date of birth is one, care is one, bed, meal, medication, equipment, total expense, insurance, coverage, amount to be paid. All of these are variables. So you need to ensure that they are all listed in your variable section here. So, right? So once you have done that, you can run through this. Remember, put in your own sentence. I have pretty much done the SBA, the pseudocode here so for you. All you have to do is plug in your personal information to it. Right? So instead of me saying I have enter first name here, so don't go back to write same exact enter first name, right? Put in please enter first name or something like that. Make yours a little bit different. Alright? With the sentences. I have only declare my variables here, so you don't have to do them the same way. Alright? You can have first name as one word like that. You can have if name, you can have first underscore n. Over choose your two, right? Any over you choose to name them, just make sure you name them different from you have, right? So I'm gonna react, I'm gonna say I'm your copy exactly, right? For these parts you're seeing quotations, use your own sentence, create your own sentence for those sections. The rest side will pretty much do it for you, right? Remember for the care here, so you're going to use the exact figures that you have in your SBA, in your key. The figures that you have down here, so in your key. Those are the information that you're going to use. So my figures on the have here so obviously different from what you would have. So those are the figures that you are supposed to have for your key. Alright? Supposed to have there, so. And the rest side, that's pretty much it. So that is the next task. You're going to complete the pseudocode exactly like I'm going to show you. Exactly after I've shown it to you here, so it shouldn't. You're probably going to be a bit longer than mine. Alright? You're probably going to write a bit longer than mine, but that doesn't matter. So when you finish do this, submit it to me so that I can see say you do it, and then that can be a second grade, right? So that's going to make 2 grades that you're going to get. That much closer you're going to get from it. So you're going to get 1 grade for this. I'm going to finish doing this, and the pseudocode, I'm going to grade this as well, give it much closer. And in addition, this pseudocode here so is a part of your SBA. So apart from getting a classwork grade for it, you're going to get an SBA grade for it as well. Alright? And if you look through this, we see that we have capture the personal information, we capture the insurance data, we calculate the 4 expenses. So this is done. We calculate insurance coverage. So we did up to this point. Alright, so we did A, B, C, and D. So you're going to complete that and send it to me today. You're going to complete this and send it to me before today. I'm not saying today, I mean before night. You understand? There was a specific time when I can look at it. So free between now and 6 o'clock. Send it to me between now and that time so that I can look at it. So you're going to send me this question, complete this so that I can mark it. And the pseudocode so that we can mark it between now and 6 o'clock. Anytime after that, I have other projects working on, I'm not gonna have enough time. So whatever you send me after that, going to get marked as is. You send it before that, I can look at it and make the corrections and give so that they can improve the grade. All right, I think I can wrap it up here for today. I already sent you again, I already sent you that file. So you can start working on that now so that we can get them by later. All right, that's it for today. Anybody have a question? Anybody have any question?
Sir, when you say you want to show the code today?
Today. Before 6. I have other things to do.
Sir, one more tomorrow, sir. Come and move me can't send it by today, and come my computer give some problem, you know, sir. You know all type of computer I use now, sir.
Alright, so for the other people who can listen clearly, I said 6 o'clock today. Alright? After that, I have other things to do. I'm gonna guarantee some look on it after that. Alright? So that's Princess. Who over name Monroe, I don't know who that. Odian.
Jada.
Yes, Jada. Thank you. I don't know why I won't put your name. Janelle, Richie Lee, Giselle, Namumba, all on 6 o'clock today. For Kadna, you can send me your program, please. I'm gonna look on it and make sure that you are doing your own proper evaluation. You must start.
Girl, me gonna get part of now. Go do good for me, you know.
Where is it, Jada?
This is pseudocode something, sir. Me doubt that gonna even make sense. So we never send you, sir. We never do.
What's wrong with you, my girl? I have literally done it for you here, so I don't have to your personal information. So you're not gonna be good if you literally do it for your little while. Me can't make it no easier than this, you know. Me do it for you. All you have to put in your own words. I've done it for you. I can't make it any easier than that. The only way I'm gonna do it easier than that is to send you a copy and you change your name, my name, and put on your name. You want me to do that to you?
Thank you.
Anytime, you're welcome. Anytime.
Where's it?
Look out for it. I'm soon send it. Anybody else have any question?
Sir, regarding my SBA, I haven't started the pseudocode thing as it, but I'll send it to you.
But you, based on what I was showing a while ago, you understand what to do for your pseudocode, right?
Yes, I'm getting an understanding.
So can you at least do a little draft so that we can see say you understand?
Okay.
Sir,
Yes. Okay.
say great. You want the first one with the cheers table, sir? You can send that on to me, sir, because I got the new phone, sir, so I don't have them information they on that, so I have to send them back to me, sir.
But you send them to your mother and ask your mother for you, know. Alright? After she
Sir,
said
I go
that.
on the road now, sir. That's what I'm asking.
You know what?
Sir, she I go on the road now.
Find stop stressing on my young days, please. I'm gonna ask her. Alright? Thank you very much. That's it for today. I look forward to seeing those information start coming in by 6 o'clock. Alright? Let me just run through, let me just scroll through one time just to make sure. That's the first one. Let me just.
So, I'm gonna
Pardon?
you
I'm not hearing you.
yesterday.
What? Don't know what you say.
I never hear what you say.
When?
I never hear what you say.
When? Which part of what I said you didn't hear? Okay.
Everything because the phone chip out.
You can't say everything. Everything
We
from
just
when
hear
we
when
just
I
start
call my
work.
name.
Just watch back over the video. Anything you need clearance, I will know me will tell you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you all very much. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sir.